The last song. It was one of those evenings that felt suspended in time. The kind where the world outside seemed to fade away, leaving only the warmth of the room and the quiet hum of life around you. Ella was sitting at the piano, her fingers lightly brushing the keys, playing a tune she had been working on for weeks. I was sitting beside her, leaning my head against her shoulder, watching her play. Her music had always been my escape, a language we both understood, even when words failed. Ella and I had been together for years, but it felt like time had a way of making us fall in love all over again, every single day. It wasn't the kind of love you saw in movies, the grand gestures, the declarations, but something quieter, something deeper. It was the way she always knew when I needed space, or when I needed her more than anything. It was the way she could finish my sentences without me having to speak them. It was the comfort of being near her, the safety of knowing we were both in this world together, no matter what. But over the last few months, something had shifted. Ella had started to pull away just a little. It was small things at first. She'd be late coming home, or she'd get lost in thought during dinner, her mind clearly somewhere else. I didn't want to admit it, but I could see it happening. She wasn't the same. I tried to ask her about it, but she would just smile and brush it off. "I'm fine," she'd say. "Just tired, that's all." But I knew something was wrong, something I couldn't fix. The way she looked at me sometimes, like she was already saying goodbye, even though she hadn't said the words. One evening, after weeks of subtle distance, she asked if we could sit down and talk. I knew what was coming, but I still wasn't ready for it. We were sitting on the couch, and she was holding my hand, her thumb gently brushing over my knuckles. I could feel her hesitation, her uncertainty. She wasn't sure how to say it, but I could see it in her eyes. She was already breaking my heart, even before she spoke the words. I've been thinking a lot about us," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. "And I think I need some time. I don't know if we're what I need right now." The words hit me like a shockwave, reverberating through my body. I couldn't breathe. My heart started racing, my mind spinning. I wanted to reach for her, to tell her that this wasn't what I wanted, that I needed her more than anything. But the look on her face told me everything. She had already made up her mind. "I don't know what's happening," she continued, tears welling in her eyes. "But I don't think I'm the person I used to be, and I don't want to keep pretending that I am. I don't want to hurt you anymore." I wanted to tell her that she wasn't hurting me, that I'd do anything to make her stay. I wanted to beg her to stay, but all I could do was nod, trying to hold back the tears that threatened to fall. The pain of watching her leave, of realizing that no matter how much I loved her, it wasn't enough to keep her with me, was unbearable. She hugged me tightly, as if she was trying to hold on to something she couldn't quite grasp. And then she stood up, walking slowly towards the door. She didn't say goodbye, but I knew. I knew she wasn't coming back. I sat there for what felt like hours, frozen in place, not knowing what to do. The world outside had gone quiet. All that was left was the hollow sound of her absence, the weight of the space she had left behind. The only thing I could hear was the sound of the wind against the window and the slow, rhythmic beating of my heart. Days passed, and the silence between us stretched on. I tried to go on with my life, to fill the empty spaces with distractions. But nothing felt real without her. The music we had once shared, the small moments that defined us, now felt like echoes of something that was lost. I couldn't escape the pain of losing her, no matter how much I tried. And then one day, I got a message from her. It was simple, too simple, almost, but it was enough to send a wave of emotion crashing over me. "I've written a song for you," it said. I knew what she meant. Ella had always expressed herself through music, and even though we were no longer together, I knew this was her way of saying goodbye, of telling me, in the only way she knew how, that she still cared, even if we couldn't be together anymore. I listened to the song that night, sitting in the dark, letting the notes wash over me. It was a melody we had shared, the same one she had played on the piano that evening before everything fell apart. Her voice, soft and haunting, filled the room, and the lyrics hit me like a final blow. "And I will fade to black, but you will carry me. In every note and every breath, I'll be with you endlessly." The tears came then, pouring out of me as I listened. I realized that the love we had wasn't gone. Not really. But it wasn't enough to hold us together. And now, all I had left were the memories, the music, and the fading echoes of a love that was lost. By the time the song ended, I was numb. I had already started to fade along with her. The world outside continued on, but I felt as if I was slipping away with every passing moment. The love we had was fading too, like a song that you can't quite remember, but still carries with it the weight of everything that was once beautiful. And in the quiet, I knew I would always carry her with me. Her music, her love, her absence, forever fading to black.